Welcome to All the Good Ones.
Are Taken, also known as @goat.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Meagan.
And this is our podcast.
Today we are discussing a couple different books that we've chosen that we wanted to talk about as our first monthly minisode.
Whoop whoop.
So this is just anything that we want to talk about that we've read recently. For me, one of my picks is a book that was my favorite book of 2022. So it's just kind of a wide array.
Yeah, array.
Wide array of things. So yeah, do you want to go ahead and kick us off, Alex, with your first one?
Yeah, and I just want to say the reason that we're not including these in our normal episodes is because we've either already read them kind of in the past, so it's not like a recent read that we want to discuss, or it's such a long and winding series that we physically cannot cover it. So, like one of the series we'll be talking about today. So yeah, but I want to start with The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. So, whoop whoop. So The Silent Patient got Book of the Month, Book of the Year Award 2019, and the Goodreads Choice Awards Best Mystery and Thriller and Goodreads nominee for Best Debut 2019. It was released February 5th, 2019, and the author, Alex Michaelides, was born and raised in Cyprus. The Silent Patient was his first novel and debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller. And I'll just read the Goodreads summary so y'all can get kind of a picture if you have not read this book about what it's about. So Alicia Burinson's life is seemingly perfect. A famous painter married to an in-demand fashion photographer, she lives in a grand house with big windows overlooking a park in one of London's most desirable areas. One evening, her husband Gabriel returns home late from a fashion shoot, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. Alicia's refusal to talk or give any kind of explanation turns a domestic tragedy into something far grander, a mystery that captures the public imagination and casts Alicia into notoriety. The price of her art skyrockets, and she, the silent patient, is hidden away from the tabloids and spotlight at the Grove, a secure forensic unit in North London. Theo Faber is a criminal psychotherapist who has waited a long time for the opportunity to work with Alicia. His determination to get her to talk and unravel the mystery of why she shot her husband takes him down a twisting path into his own motivations, a search for the truth that threatens to consume him. The Silent Patient is a shocking psychological thriller of a woman's act of violence against her husband and the therapist obsessed with uncovering her motive. So that's a lot there.
Yeah. I also read this, I think in like 2020, and I had a great time, but it seems like Alex did not.
I have very strong feelings on this book. Okay. So first of all, I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, and I think I should just read my review in Goodreads because I was definitely feeling some type of way fresh off of reading this book.
I remember seeing her post on Goodreads, and I was just like, she'll tell me about it later. Like, it was so long.
Yeah, and there was really no need for me to type such a long and wordy response to a book when I usually don't even type up responses to books on Goodreads. Honestly, like I just give them my star rating and then I move on. I don't know, just something about a main male character and damaged women. It just gets me like riled up. So here we go. This is my Goodreads review, and I posted this on June 7th, 2023, literally right after I read this book. So I start out with, I can't deny that The Silent Patient was a page turner. And by page turner, I mean me hastily turning the pages in search of an ending that left me feeling dissatisfied and disappointed. The story at first grips you with intrigue. Like, what was I doing writing these words? Okay. The femme fatale, the true crime element, all with an interesting psychological perspective. As you read on, it's hard to ignore the misogynistic undertones and frankly boring and overplayed male-centered perspective. Especially when that perspective is so misleading from a psychological standpoint. Every woman in the book was portrayed as slightly annoying and slightly neurotic, even at their most alluring moments. They are represented in feminine roles: the artist, the actress, the therapist, the receptionist, the damaged. They are the leaders in the destruction of their men's lives. Aunt Lydia to Paul, Eva Via's suicide to whatever Alicia's father's name was, Alicia herself to her father, and later Alicia to Gabriel and Theo. Not even to mention how Kathy is portrayed. I'm rambling at this point, truly rambling. But I'd be interested in seeing how a therapy session with Michaelides would go. Overall, it gets 3 stars for holding my interest and being a quick read. So damn, yeah, I have some strong feelings about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't remember it other than the twist. And I think my question to you would be, could it not be his commentary on society? Like you're trying to portray Michaelides as a bad guy,
Like a villain,
right? Yeah. Could it just be he's trying to show that, you know, or I mean, maybe not, and maybe he is awful, but isn't the ending
like portraying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I by no means want to villainize Michaelides. I at the end where I said I would be interested to see how a therapy session would go. I'm interested in many therapy sessions that men would have in general. So not Michaelides specifically. But no, I agree with you. It's absolutely possible that instead of just writing this, like I said, kind of boring male-centered character, that he had a goal of portraying that theme. And I could see that.
Yeah.
For sure.
This was pre-COVID that I read this book, so I can't remember the minutia that you might, but I mean, like, didn't know any of those characters' names, honestly, that you just read.
Exactly. And I think specifically with the female characters, like, they were written as unremarkable. And so, I don't know, it's just interesting, the viewpoint.
Yeah, I definitely thought the book, even when I read it, because I read it like at the prime of its hype, and I remember being like, it's fine, it's good. I think I gave it 4 on Goodreads.
Yeah.
And it was a good, entertaining read, but it wasn't like, my 5 stars are typically reserved for things that I plan to read again.
Yep.
And I don't see myself picking that up. But I had another book by Michaelides. The Maidens was on the book of the month. And so I got that one, but I haven't read it yet. So now that you've pointed that out to me, I'm going to keep in mind, you know, those themes going forward.
Yeah. And I mean, like, taking the problematic viewpoint that I did take on it, like, if we're just looking at the story in general, I think it is a good story. Mm-hmm. Like, is it like, oh my God, my life changed because I read this book? Absolutely not. Is it like such a good plot twist that, frankly, I did see coming? Did you see it coming?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm one of those people who's already mapped out every single way that it could end.
Yeah.
So I try just not to like think about it when I'm reading.
Yeah, because it'll ruin it for you. Yeah. Yeah. So not from the very beginning, do not get me wrong, I was like, it could be anybody. But as the book went on, it was increasingly clear who it was. And I was just like, okay, what is the hype for, I suppose. So 3 stars from me. I will most likely read his books in the future, and I will see if these themes continue. Michaelides, do not sue me.
All right.
So Meagan, what book did you want to talk about today?
Yeah, so today I am bringing Good Omens, the nice and accurate prophecies of Agnes Nutter, Witch, by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. I recently just finished this book, but before I dive into my thoughts, here are some of the accolades. So it has 4.25 stars on Goodreads. It was published in 1990 and re-released in 2006. It's received Locus Award for Best Fantasy 1991, World Fantasy Award for Best Novel 1991, and recently got an Audie Award for Audio Drama and for Fantasy 2023, which actually is the cast of the actual TV show. So, very fun.
Cool.
I listened to it on audiobook, but I didn't have the fancy cast because it was on Libby, so it was free. But I do hear that audiobook is fantastic, and I have been watching the show, and it's superb. But first, more about the authors. So Terry Pratchett was born in 1948 and had his first story published when he was just 13. After leaving school at 17 to become a journalist, he continued writing, publishing his first novel, The Carpet People, in 1971, and going on to produce the phenomenally successful Discworld series. Terry proved early critics wrong and became one of the UK's most successful authors, receiving a knighthood in 2009.
Damn.
And seeing many of his books adapted to the screen. He died in 2015 after a long struggle with Alzheimer's disease. And if you want to know more about him, you can go to his website, which is where I get all of my information for my authors. And then Neil Gaiman is the #1 New York Times bestselling author of more than 20 books, including Norse mythology, Neverwhere, and The Graveyard Book. Among his numerous literary awards are the Newbery and Carnegie Medals and the Hugo, Nebula, World Fantasy, and Will Eisner Awards. He is a professor in the arts at Bard College. He was a tricky one to find a summary on because every time I looked for it, it was like 30 paragraphs, and I was like,
Distinguished fellow.
Yeah, no, I was like, you're too smart. Anyway, more about Good Omens. According to the nice and accurate prophecies of Agnes Nutter, witch, the world's only complete accurate book of prophecies, written in 1655, before she exploded, the world will end on a Saturday. Next Saturday, in fact, just before dinner. So, the armies of good and evil are amassing, Atlantis is rising, frogs are falling, tempers are flaring, everything appears to be going according to divine plan, except a somewhat fussy angel and a fast-living demon, both of whom have lived amongst Earth's mortals since the beginning and have grown rather fond of the lifestyle, are not actually looking forward to the coming rapture. And someone seems to have misplaced the Antichrist.
As they do.
So like I said, I listened to this on Libby, and I kind of just had it on as background noise. Like, I was enjoying it, but it wasn't like, it was a nice British narrator, nice lulling, putting me to sleep. And then I found out once I returned it that it is a Amazon Prime, I believe, show.
Oh.
So the show is like crazy identical to the book. It's like actual passages from the book, like narrated throughout. So it's really cool. And the actors that do the narration and the main two, like Angel and Demon, they are the narrators in the book that won the award.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so it's really cool. The chemistry that the Angel and the Demon have in the show, like, I actually like want them to date. Like, I'm in love with them.
Oh.
And I'm hoping that's what season 2 is. But it's a great show. It has a pretty good cast. I'm really enjoying it. I think especially if you like haven't read it, it's a good show to watch. You might find it redundant if you have watched it or read it.
Right.
But I'm having a grand old time.
Yeah.
It's been my treadmill show, so I just get on the elliptical and watch it for 50 minutes.
Get your workout in, get your reading in.
I laugh out loud. Everyone around me is like,
they wish they were laughing. Yeah. So
I've always like kind of wanted someone to be like, what are you laughing at? Or like, what are you dancing to?
Exactly. Like, ask me about what content I'm currently devouring. Yeah.
Right.
My mom also loves Good Omens.
Oh, really?
She loved it. I never read it, so.
Yeah, it's a great show. I mean, that's something y'all could watch together. Season 2 just dropped, like, I think July 1st or something.
Oh, wow. So really recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either June or July of 2023. So really recent.
Okay, cool.
But overall, fantastic. I really recommend it. I really recommend the show. I think we've discussed in other episodes, I don't like to rate things recently after reading them. But if I combine like the show and the book, it's like 5 stars hands down. The show is phenomenal. I really do recommend it. And, you know, there's some history of famous authors, sirs, writing it.
Actual sirs.
But a historical fantasy novel, a great TV show of all ages, good dark humor, but lighthearted. Like, of course, the themes are demons and the end of the world, but it's a funny, laugh out loud book and show. I think most people will really enjoy it.
I love that. There's nothing that I love more than a piece of media that reflects the original piece. Like, did you ever read Flipped, like in like elementary school?
I'm sure I did.
It's about the girl who like stood in the tree and like wouldn't come down, and she had a crush on a boy, and the boy didn't like her, and then he falls in love with her.
Oh, what?
You never read that?
I mean, I'm sure I did, but I don't recall it.
Flipped. That was my childhood right there, and the movie was like verbatim, like the book.
Oh, really?
It was amazing.
I like see the cover in my head because it's that
little
that
chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a chick. Yeah. What I do wish, so y'all can't see on the video, but my entire like half of a shelf is dedicated to Percy Jackson.
I love Percy Jackson.
It's my all-time favorite show or all-time favorite book series.
So good.
I love Rick Riordan so much.
He was so good.
But that's how I wanted the Percy Jackson movies to be.
And it was absolutely fucking not like that.
It was not. I was so devastated. But I'm hoping, like, with him having input on the new TV show, the Disney Plus show, it'll be at least a little bit more similar.
Yeah.
I
will be upset that Logan Lerman is not in it, but I will accept that because he is not a, 13-year-old boy?
No, he's definitely, like, a 30-year-old man now. Like...
Okay. I'm just saying. But I'll be missing him.
I will be too.
Yeah.
He was the only redeeming factor of that series.
Facts. But yeah, I love that content. So I'm glad you thoroughly enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. And then my next book, I'm going to go ahead and do mine, and then Alex will end on her final series.
Because that's my favorite right now. And I made Meagan read it, and she loved it. So.
Yeesh. This is me getting the book and the video.
Yay.
So, The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune was my all-time favorite book of 2022 that I read.
Whoop whoop.
It was released on March 17th, 2020. It won a ton of awards, including the Alex Award.
Hey, it must be good.
And the Goodreads Choice Award for Fantasy of 2020. TJ Klune is the New York Times and USA Today bestselling Lambda Literary Award-winning author of The House on the Cerulean Sea, The Extraordinaries, and more. Being queer himself, Klune believes it's important now more than ever to have accurate, positive queer representation in stories. Fun fact, my husband works at a coffee shop, and someone at the drive-thru asked him if he was TJ Klune.
Wow. I'm looking at Shelby right now, but what? They do look alike.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Shelby, you're an author.
Who works at a coffee shop.
Klune, don't sue us. Yeah.
But the summary of the book is Linus Baker is a by-the-book caseworker in the department in charge of magical youth. He's tasked with determining whether 6 dangerous magical children are likely to bring about the end of the world. I didn't realize I chose 2 apocalyptic books.
But it's fitting. Like, the world is burning, you know? Like, I want to read fiction about it. I don't want to live it.
Arthur Parnassus.
Or do I?
Arthur Parnassus.
Parnassus, yeah.
Okay. Arthur Parnassus is the master of the orphanage. He would do anything to keep the children safe, even if it means the world will burn, and his secrets will come to light. The House in the Cerulean Sea is an enchanting love story, masterfully told, and the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realizing that family is yours. So,
Cute.
it's a fantastic read. I think also what I love about, like, why I chose both of these books is because they are, like, cozy fantasy. Like, they aren't, you know, the end of the world and then zombies come and destroy us. It's, like, happy.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It's wholesome.
Right.
Right.
And it's so uplifting to read.
Aww.
Like it's like you feel like you're being hugged. So one of the 6 children is the Antichrist. And
Aww.
so the caseworker has to like get over his fear of like the devil baby.
Okay.
And like I think he had based it off the story of like Canadian Indigenous people, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
So
okay.
some could argue that this is not his story to tell, but also you could argue that no one else has written it. So.
It's good that the story is being told.
Right.
In general, yeah.
We draw from inspirations in real life, so just because it wasn't what he lived doesn't mean it's not an inspiration. But it's a fantastic read. I really recommend it. It's quick, it's fun, it's queer, it's just so lovable. And I feel like I'm being hugged.
Yay! And we love queer authors.
We do.
We stan.
And I also have 2 more of his that I haven't read yet that I plan to.
Yay!
Which are Under the Whispering Door and In the Lives of Puppets. Which I think In the Lives of Puppets is a little bit more sci-fi and the fact that it's like robots coming to life. But I don't know. Anyway, Alex, do you want to bring us home?
Oh, I will. And I'll bring us to a place that I love very, very dearly. And a place that I wish more people would visit without being judgy or hesitant on the title. So today we are going to talk about a new series that I've been reading that was suggested to me by my best friend Jade. So shout out to Jade. And at first I was very hesitant because of this title. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a go. And I'm so glad that I did. And here's the deal. I love smut. Okay. Like I be reading it. I love romance. It's one of my favorite genres. It's one of the best selling genres in the world. But there are some niche parts of smut that people dive into. And so I was like, wow, let's just give this a go. So today we're going to talk about Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. Woo! Whoop, whoop. So I actually want to ask you first what you thought about it because you were so hesitant and I really, really wanted you to read it so we could talk about it.
Right. Well, do you want to talk about the author real quick?
Oh, shit. Yeah, I keep forgetting all that. Okay.
So we don't have any accolades other than it being like a TikTok sensation.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over the place right now. I actually didn't find it on TikTok. I heard it from you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my other favorite podcasts, Page 7, does, Jackie Zabrowski does funny readings, and she's been reading Ice Planet Barbarians.
And it's so good, rightfully so. So Ruby Dixon is an author of all things science fiction romance. She's a Sagittarius and Raylo shipper and loves farming Sims, but not actual housework. I relate. She lives in the South with her husband and a couple of geriatric cats and can't think of anything else to put in her biography. Truly, she is boring. And that is from the Goodreads summary that Ruby herself wrote. So we figured we would just toss that in there for her. So Ice Planet Barbarians is about a group of women who are abducted by aliens. And yes, that is where this is going. So they're abducted from Earth, obviously, and they're taken in a ship where they end up crashing. That ship crashes onto an ice planet, hence the name, Ice Planet Barbarians. And luckily, they are saved by handsome, hunky icemen who come to rescue them with their penises. So it is an excellent read. I love the sex scenes. I loved, like, the dynamics between the characters. And I honestly thought that it was such, like, an original idea. Like, I don't know. It just put the whole Ice Planet Barbarian thing in, like, a really good twist. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the fact that they are aliens was not weird at all to me.
No, I really enjoyed it. I was like, I'll read it because you told me to, but I don't promise much else. and I was like flying through it.
Yup.
I immediately signed up for Kindle Unlimited so I could start reading that, because I was like, Alex, next time we record, can you please bring me the second one?
Yup.
And I was like, wait, I can't wait that long.
Yeah.
So I got the Kindle Unlimited. We are both, I think, at the third one, or you might be on the fourth one now.
Fourth one, yep.
And I'm having a grand old time.
It is a
reading these.
great time. Like, I read the first two books, and then I was immediately asking everyone I knew, like, okay, well, who's your favorite couple? Like, what do you like about it? Like, that type of thing. And I like how, I'm not going to say wholesome, because it's not necessarily wholesome sex, not at all. But I like how healthy those sexual relations are portrayed in the book, because a lot of times, what was that face for? Sometimes
I would say most of it's above board.
Okay, let's hear it. What are your thoughts? Which ones are you talking about specific? Oh, when they're forced?
All of them. All of them are forced at some time. Like, Vectel wakes Georgie up the first time they meet.
In a
He's
great
eating her
way.
out.
Yeah, listen. If I find myself on an ice planet and there's an alien eating me out, the first thing I'm not going to say is, well, maybe.
I'd be like, you're trying to impregnate me with your tongue. Please get away from me.
That is not what Georgie said.
It's not. But it's not.
But like reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Once we get past the initial, like, holy shit, these aliens are trying to impregnate.
So I will say I read this book on a bachelorette trip. I was going to Charleston with some girls, and we, like, on the plane ride there, I read it. Any spare moment I got, I was reading it. Thankfully, they're pretty short.
They are very quick reads, which I enjoy.
Yes. And anytime anyone asked me, like, anytime anyone said anything about a book, I was like, well, these alien fuck books are really good.
That's literally what they are. Alien fuck books.
They're so good. And I literally told the Uber driver on our
Oh my
way to
God.
the Airbnb, he was British, by the way. And
That's the best combo. Uber and British.
I know.
Damn.
I was like, the other girls in the car were like, oh, like, what are you reading? And I was like, listen, really spicy alien books. And he was like, I need to hear more about this. And so I just explained to him how
it plants a
the
seed.
whole thing. And I was like,
people want to know. People
they
want
do,
to
and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and as they should. As they really, really should. These men were literally made for fucking women. Like that's literally what they meant.
Human women specifically.
Like human women. And the one thing I didn't mention was that to survive on this planet, they have to take a thing called a symbiont, something like that.
Symbiotic.
No, that's
Yeah, it is.
that's what it's not a symbiotic.
A parasite.
It's a parasite. Symbiotic is the term, but she calls it a symbiont. Symbiont.
A symbiote.
Symbiont.
Symbiont. Wait, let me see if I can just find it really
It's
quick.
symbiont.
Yeah,
But in my
symbiont.
head, it sounds different.
Symbiotic, which I think is why she wrote it. Oh shit! I just opened a page and it says, "My cock loves your."
Like how you immediately saw that.
It's hard to miss in this book, but
It's like the entire book.
oh shit, they're on their honeymoon there.
But I was explaining to Shelby that, like, it is an actual plot. Like,
There is yes, it's not just sex the whole time.
yeah, he was like, so you're just, like, reading sex the whole time? And I'm like, yes, but, like, things are happening. Like, they're not just, like, fucking and then on to the next book, two other people are fucking. Like, there's stories throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, like there's an actual. It's not just like hot alien sex, although there is a lot of that, and that's why I read it. There is like certain plot lines that happen. So they have to take the symbiont, and the reason why they have to take the symbiont, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is because if they don't, the planet will literally kill them, of course. So they call it a quee when it's inserted in their bodies.
I called it cooey.
Okay. Like cootie, but cooey.
Right,
Okay.
because they call it the cootie, so I
Oh,
assumed it was
yeah.
cooey.
Okay, cool. We'll just go with that. So, kui or kui, and the kui resonates with an alien. So a human and an alien will resonate, or called like match mating, essentially. And when you resonate with somebody, alien or human, that means that you are more likely to reproduce with that person.
Yeah.
And as soon as they start resonating, they get to fucking. And
they like have to, or their bodies like won't, like,
they can't handle it.
Yeah.
They can't handle it. And so, and of course, on this planet where there are sexy barbarians and they have to resonate and mate with these barbarians, otherwise they will die. Of course, the tribe of barbarians is running low on women, as they do. And so,
you know, those women.
Those are just hard to come by. Hard to come by on the alien planet. And so the aliens jump at the first chance to mate with these women. And it's just truly so good. I love it so much.
It's a great series. I recommend if you're looking for a little bit of a notch up in your regularly scheduled romances.
Yep.
These are it. They're fun. We've been reading a couple serious books lately, and this is just a nice filler in between. You know, you can read them in a day. They're
Absolutely.
So quick.
Yeah.
And enjoyable. Like,
they're funny. Like there have been occasions where I've literally laughed out loud at like some of the content. And I like that it's not all sex, but I like the amount of sex that's in the books. Like it's not too much, and there's enough there that I'm like, correct.
Yeah. And it's like cute.
It's cute. It's sweet.
Yeah, like all of the parties want to be together.
They're in love.
So it's great if you're curious about kind of this space. That's kind of how I was. Like I've always wanted to read more of these kinds of things, but didn't know like how to start. Like I think this is a great series for that. And you can also read it and be like, not for me. That's fine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
listen, no judgment.
No judgment.
Everyone likes what they like and they dislike what they dislike, and that's totally fine.
You can't judge us because we don't judge you.
Yeah. But if you like tales, this is the one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lots of tales.
Lots of tales. But they're mostly humanoid.
They are very like Avatar-esque.
Yes. Which I loved Avatar.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jake Sully? I know y'all saw that second movie. I know y'all saw Jake Sully in that movie. So.
I haven't yet.
Oh. Meagan, you need to get on that.
I know.
Dad Jake Sully?
Mm.
Hell yeah. Papa Sully, for sure. Anyway, great series. I rated the first book 4 out of 5, and I am continuously, and I'm continuously rating them. So definitely recommend.
Yeah, I think mine's a 3 out of 5. The vibes are 5 out of 5, though. They're just like kick your feet in the air cute, but also like hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
Vibes immaculate.
Vibes are immaculate. Woo. Anything else?
No, I think this wraps up our first minisode.
Yay! Thank y'all for listening.
And we hope you're watching.
Yes. Our first video recording, which I am not anxious to see, but I'm sure it went really well.
We'll see. You can find us at @goatpod, ATGOAT pod, on Instagram, or you can email us at @goatpod@gmail.com. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
You can also find me on my Bookstagram at @peas_reads. That's PEASE_reads. And then you can find both of us on Goodreads.
Absolutely. Please check us out. Leave a comment. Send us an email. But be nice. Be polite.
Yeah, if you don't like us, you just don't have to say anything.
You can give us, but don't be mean. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. Check us out.
This has been
All the Good Ones
Are Taken.
Yay. Woo! Minisode!